All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Thomas Anthony, the Nevada Lieutenant Governor. I would like to call the advisory board on outdoor recreation meeting to order October 9th, 2025. And here at Boulder Dam. Item number 2 is the roll call.
Okay, Lieutenant Governor,
Here.
Vice Chair Amy Berry. Here. Mauricia Baca is not here. Alex Bacchus, are you on the screen? Alex, are you online? Then Alan Janae. Stacy Montu is here. Here. Bob Rogan.
Here.
Greg Jewell.
Here.
Rafael Villanueva.
Here.
James Bellmeyer.
Here.
Deborah Strickland.
Here.
Chad Taylor.
Here.
And both of our ex officio members, Kevin Moore and Miles Gertler for the S4 service through BLM, available today.
Okay, before I move on from a roll call, I want to introduce Greg, our new board member. Greg, thank you for serving on the board. If you want to tell everyone on the board who you are, your background.
Sure, I took Dr. Pastor Matt's spot the last couple of first days. Thank you here for emergency doctor. I do some endorsements, consulting as well. But the director. Thanks for having me.
Obviously, you're interested in outdoor recreation. Right?
It is the reason he's not making.
Yeah, then last meeting I could scuba diving. Western Australia.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He's got a bird dog. You're sitting on it.
Rosie is resident boarding right now. Ready for bird season to open them up.
Well, thanks for your service on the board. I appreciate it. Yes, and if everybody could, if you're going to speak, just make sure you say your name so we're doing the minutes, and make sure they do it correctly. Again, this is Thomas Anthony, the Lieutenant Governor. All right, our agenda item 3, review and approval of minutes from the June 26, 2025 meeting. Are there any items, corrections, deletions, additions, any comments? Any minutes?
Motion to approve. Amy Berry, for the record, I don't know my name, all right. Oh, that's a good one.
On the minutes, I don't know.
Yeah, we just go through the minutes and make sure Amy's names both. Any other questions or comments?
Second with the addition of the credit.
And I'm just basically, Jeffrey Strickland for the director.
If so, Mark will second.
Thank you.
Should we?
We have a motion and a second on the minutes. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The minutes are approved. All right, item number 4, review and approval of the agenda. Are there any questions or comments or any issues with the agenda that we have today? Do we have any questions, comments, or issues? All right, do I have a motion to approve today's agenda? So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The agenda is approved. Item number 5 is public comment. This is the time for anyone that would like to make any public comment on our agenda today. Is there anyone from the public here? Yes, ma'am.
Introduce myself, my name is Katie Deeds, and I'm the tourism coordinator for the town. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, great. All right, thank you. That's great.
ABOR and like Nancy, last night readings, I'll have to do with you guys.
You do tourism?
Yeah.
Okay. How's the Port Bell place?
It's good.
That's fun. Bring yours by anytime.
I will bring my Port Bell there someday.
Yeah, you gotta try.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Nothing online? All right, I don't hear anybody else who wants public comment, so we're done with Public comment, thank you. All right, item number 6 is, any comments from me? I'll make a couple of comments. First of all, how about Denise and this, board? Huh?
Oh,
Looks like the best meeting. Lake Tahoe. But there's a lot more to see here. This is pretty, thank you Denise for, yeah, give her that. A couple other things, I had a bill, that I introduced in the last legislative session that had to do with, outdoor recreation. It's basically, it authorized, school board, 17 school boards in our state to come up with actual, outdoor recreation curriculum, that students could go through and participate in and get, high school credits for. So that bill passed, it was signed by the governor, we're moving it along. Garrett, office has been pushing it, and apparently he's working with Kendall to get around to all the school boards
Good.
that this is available. So what's happening right now is Lyon County heard about this, they did a presentation on it. Were you involved in the presentation, Kendall? Okay, thank you for.
Yeah, I can talk more about it later.
Okay, and it looks like they're gonna adopt a policy, and once they adopt it, we can kind of use that as a role model to take to other school boards. So keep that in mind. If you know any school board members anywhere in the state that you think would like to champion something at their board meeting, this is really good to get kids outdoors. I mean, they're not only get them outdoors, but get them credit. So we've been contacting Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts and kind of getting them involved. So I think this is going to have a big impact on getting our school kids outdoors and all that. A couple other things. I visited Spooner Lake a couple of weeks ago. First time I was there. Absolutely. Thank you for putting that together. Your folks did a great job up there showing me around. I mean, it's a beautiful place. It's kind of a miniature Lake Tahoe, right? Anything you want to say about Spooner Lake?
Oh, I think Spooner Lake is the hidden gem.
Yeah.
Beautiful. The park has done an amazing job. Parks has done an amazing job of instituting new improvements, the visitor center and the amphitheater and
Yep.
a wildlife viewing platform to come. Construction starting soon. What was your name? Oh, sorry, Amy Berry.
Yeah, so that's just a little outdoor recreation activity I participated in. Also, we had the groundbreaking of our adventure center in Boulder City. I know Jill's going to spend some time talking about that. And we will be having our groundbreaking of our adventure center in Carson City, I believe, next week. On the 14th. So those are moving along. I want to thank everybody who was involved in putting those together. They're going to have a big impact on outdoor recreation. I want to introduce Mike Dayton. Mike is down there. He's my senior advisor up in Reno, and Becky Skousen, who is my administrative assistant. They're the brains of the operation. I'm just a free face. And finally, it's a big deal for Nevada. I don't know if you've heard, but for the first time in our country's history, the Capitol Christmas tree that come from Nevada. Big deal. I've been pretty involved in it with ornaments, and we just picked the what's that?
The skirts that you did.
The skirts. We had to do 10,000 ornaments. Those are moving along. I participated. I did my part. We picked the essay, the Nevada essay from a kid up in Virginia City, Brady. Yep. We're going to use his essay to represent Nevada. In a week or so, is it next week?
The 25th.
Okay, on the 25th, we're actually cutting the tree down up in northern Nevada. Mr. Settlemeyer, you're shining a coin on me. I'll explain that.
They made a coin commemorating the U.S. Capitol's Christmas tree coming from Nevada. That's actually made on number 1 in Carson City that people can actually go buy. They only are going to do 500 purchased at that site. The other 500 will be through the Forest Service Foundation. So I mean, it's a pretty good collector's item. After a couple of weeks ago, they're already to 260.
Wow, that's great. So once the tree is cut down, then, it'll start traveling around the state of Nevada. There's a tour it'll take. It'll be in the, Nevada Day Parade up in Carson City, and then it will travel a route along the United States to Washington DC. And then on December 2nd, actual lighting the Christmas tree, representing the state of Nevada. I will be there. I'm not sure what I'm doing, but I will actually be there. Any of you want to come out and participate, more than welcome. So that's going to be kind of a fun thing, and it's again, it's another outdoor recreation activity. So that's all I have. Anything you want to add?
Like it.
Mrs. Vice Chair? Okay. All right, item number 7, updates for discussion. Denise.
Denise Baronio, for the record, Administrator for the Division of Outdoor Recreation. I would like to open by saying thank you to Mike Cherney and his staff at the Bureau of Reclamation for providing this space for us, and to both Chad Taylor and to Director Stellmeyer for personally sponsoring space so we can be here today. So thank you very much. I would like to take credit for finding a space, but I can't. That was Jill Lagan, one who suggested. I was like, where can we go that's super cool? And she said there's only one. So here we are. So Jill, thank you for making the recommendation. I appreciate it. This is an absolutely beautiful spot. We're very thankful to be here today. And also, tomorrow is Jill's birthday. So that is why there are mentees. So if you didn't get a mentee, they are at the end of the table there. You're welcome. Yeah. So there's some snacks at the end of the table to celebrate her birthday. Also, another thank you to Chad Taylor, who's on our advisory board and guest services, for providing our float trip in a river boat. Like running a raft, like from energy, is just a clarification.
Just jump on board, we'll be fine.
They sponsored this little tour for us this afternoon. Hopefully the weather holds. I'm happy to go away, but the rain. And then we'll get to go on the other side of the dam and Chad, can you take just 1 second and let everyone know there's kind of a change in plan and how we're going to get
Yeah, Chad Taylor for the record. When we leave here, everybody's familiar with the Hoover Dam Lodge, which you pass on the way in. Will possibly be off, just past security on your way out. At last casino, we will meet at the westmost parking lot of that building. Much less there. You can park your car, it's safe. It's a like Bureau of Reclamation lot. So you can park your vehicles there. We'll put you on a bus, and we'll take the security road down to Boulder Street. That's clearance. Well, that's easy. And we'll take it down the bottom, we'll put you on a raft, and then there's.
Thank you so much for Thanks, Romeo, for the record. My quick updates for the division are: one, finally, we have our economic impact analysis on outdoor recreation for the whole state. We've been working on this for over a year. Lieutenant Governor, this is your copy.
Thank you.
And I will send the link to everybody here, and we can also drop it in the chat after the meeting's over with, so that anybody, the public, it's available to everybody. So it is hopefully a tool that communities can use to show legislators across the state how important outdoor recreation is, that we are a must-have and not just a nice-to-have. So we designed the economic impact analysis to really highlight and showcase outdoor recreation across the state, including state parks, and all of our state partners. And we're super excited that it's finally coming to fruition. We also will have a mini version of it, but we've got 7 to 8 pages that will be available in about 90 days. And that's going to be for communities to actually take out and use as a tool to help them highlight some of the outdoor recreation in their part of the state. So if anybody would like a paper copy of that in this room, just let me know. I'm happy to provide that to you. The other thing that continue to work on with UNR, and now UNLV is to create outdoor recreation degree paths and workforce development so that we keep kids in our state, not just in environmental science, not just biology and the engineering degree paths, but also actual outdoor recreation. Elizabeth and Chelsea from our division have been working with Truckee Meadows Community College to create a trail crew certification program
Next year.
spring. Yeah, so one of them can chat about that, but I just reached out to UNLV about 2 months ago and said, hey, we're doing this cool thing with UNR. Would you guys be interested in potentially creating some sort of outdoor recreation degree path? We're the only state in the West that doesn't have it. All the states surrounding us have an outdoor recreation degree, either that focuses on, other things besides forestry, but also we wanted to create something that helps with the workforce gaps that we have in our state, especially within the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. And so they jumped on that opportunity. They were super excited. And I asked if anybody would like to join a call. We could further discuss it. I think we had 18 people on the call from UNLV to kind of get a highlight of what UNR was doing, which UNR has created a specialty in their environmental sciences program that is for recreation focused. And then we do have a minor in geology and outdoor adventure leadership that Kendall has been helping me work on with UNR. So super excited about those. That's going to be ongoing for years and years, and hopefully we get something created at UNR with an actual degree in the next 24 months. And then just to also jump on what the Lieutenant Governor was saying about the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree, we presented Grady Armstrong at the school up there, the grade school up in Virginia City with Smokey Bear, which was super cool. The certificate to say that he won. I will be in DC. I think James, Director Spellmeyer will be there. Both of our deputy directors will be there. Also, experience the tree lighting around the Capitol Christmas tree lawn, and that's just great gift for winning accolade. And he gets he's gonna fly there, family get the trip to light the Capitol Christmas tree, and he's going to be lighting up the Speaker of the House. So he gets to push the button, light the Capitol Christmas tree. So cool. Yeah. Yes.
Chad Stevens, how do we share great essay? I thought it was great.
Yes, I have the essay in my office and kind of hoarding it because it's just adorable. But Sheva, Forest Service said she really likes to have that back. So when I get back, I will give that to her, and we're gonna put it publicly on the U.S. Forest Service's social media so everybody can read it, but not until he reads it at the tree lighting ceremony. So it won't be available until after December. He did have a little chunk of it that he read because we did read it to his class when we were there. There's a little chunk of it I think that they posted. I think it was awarded the big surprise that he won. And he's a pretty articulate kid for 9 years old. So we're really impressed with him, and he had great things to say about the state and public lands and the national parks. So that I will refer to my very famous Deputy Administrator Elizabeth Johnson.
I mean, if I'm so famous, I don't even need it.
Elizabeth Johnson, Deputy Administrator, and or yes, sir.
I just want to thank you for this report here, but this one paragraph I want you all to know. The findings are compelling. Outdoor recreation is a significant economic engine generating billions in economic output and supporting 75,000 jobs across Nevada and the Tahoe Basin, stimulating nearly $14 billion of economic activity. And then it goes on and on. So this is a huge deal for our state. So that's why this commission is so important, because there's a lot of people that rely on jobs because of us, economic activity because of us. So again, I just want to thank you for serving on this committee. I think it's a big deal. And just a reminder, please speak up anytime you want, make any comments, questions, any opinions you have, anything that you want us to do as a state. That's why you're here. We want to hear from you. if there's anything you want to bring up, anytime during this commission meeting. So, okay.
Elizabeth Johnson, Deputy Administrator for ABOR, for the record, just jumping off of that. So I just have one update for you today. So the Mountain West Trails Conference, we are planning to bring it to the state of Nevada in 2028. So this Trails Conference is a collaboration with all of the Mountain Western states. And it happens every 2 years and it shifts from state to state. So in 2024, it was its first year, it was in Utah. In 2026, it'll be Wyoming, and in 2028, we hope to bring it here. No location has been chosen yet. Really cool opportunity to highlight all of the amazing trails and outdoor recreation opportunities that we have on this state. A great collaboration across our Mountain Western states, deal with a lot of the positive things, but also sometimes, issues too, hurdles, allow them to work together as a team to work with those. So I just kind of wanted to put that on everybody radar, and we're still designing location in the same. I'll go ahead and kick it to Kendall.
Thank you. I have a couple of updates. We kind of got the Outdoor Education Committee for the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation. Starting with everybody's favorite, the NOAA grant, the Nevada Outdoor Education and Recreation Grant Program is here. We've got all of our applications in. We had 55 applications this year, which broke down to 25 micro grant applications, but anything $7,500 or less. And then 30 tier 2 applications, which is what ABOR scores as the technical advisory committee for this grant program. However, a couple of those, or one of those was ineligible, and 2 of them were only eligible. So that means we have 27 scores. This year was about $1.1 million. We have $310,000 to hand out this year, which is a little bit more than we've had. We got a $250,000 appropriation from the legislature this year, and then we've also accrued some interest over the past couple of years, and we also have a little bit of funding. So we have a little bit more money to work with. Tier 2 grants are going to have 80% at $248,000 and 20% $62,000 micro grants. All of the instructions and training and materials that you'll need to start scoring that have been sent to you, they were sent out on Tuesday. So if you haven't received those, please let me know. But you should have everything you need to start scoring. I need those returned to me by November 6th, so I can then schedule our presentations for our meeting on November 13th in Fresno City. Any questions about that?
Amy Berry, for the record, Kendall, great job. I watched your video. Really good. It's 20 minutes. She takes you through the whole process. You did a really nice job. The score sheet and the rubric, everything looks great.
A lot of it should be reviewed if you've done it before, but good refresher, good thing to refer back to. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions or any issues with the tag or anything, and be good. All right, and then next, Lieutenant Governor mentioned the bill that allows students to receive credit for participating in outdoor recreation through school. So I've been assisting his office, Garrett in particular, with that. We went to the Lyon County meeting as suggested. They are working out some kind of, how that's going to work, if it can fit into some of the systems that they already have in place for independent study and that sort of thing. We're, just there to help them and provide resources and provide input, but they seem excited about it. So we're happy that that's happening. And then the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition is also interested in supporting that effort and spreading it to more counties. So we're, kind of feeling out how things are done in Lyon County, and then we'll go from there and hopefully get it implemented statewide very soon. And then lastly, I just wanted to discuss the Outdoor Education Council. So AB 165 from the 2025 legislative session became effective October 1st, creating a new board, the Outdoor Education Council. This came from the recommendations in the Outdoor Education Advisory Working Group report to the legislature. And so those governor appointed boards and commissions are posted now and open for applications. We hopefully will get those appointed in the next month or so. Hoping to get an initial meeting of the council in before the end of the year. Because we had a really exciting thing happen where the Open Education Council was awarded a $50,000 grant through Nature Everywhere from the Children in Nature Network, who we've been working with over the past couple of years. They funded our public input survey that the advisory working group did, and they provided us technical assistance for the past 2 years. So that $50,000 is going to go toward outdoor education meeting support. We're going to get to do some outdoor educator recognition and some teacher trainings that will be available to every teacher in Nevada, and as well as work with a school here in Clark County, Las Vegas specifically, to help them to work toward an outdoor school designation. So that's one of the main purposes of the Outdoor Education Council, is for them to recognize schools through a designation and through teacher recognition. So you got some funding to help get that stuff and get going. So we're excited about that as well. I like that. Let's do any questions. Chelsea's next.
Am I next? All right. For the record, my name is Chelsea Kinchlow. I'm Program Officer number 3 with the Division of Outdoor Recreation. So I'm approaching my 2nd year with the division, which is very exciting this November. So I talked about Cosmos in the Desert at our last ABOR meeting. We did it. We had a really great turnout. So this was the first Northern Nevada Dark Skies Festival that we held out at Lahontan State Park. And a big part of this is because Lahontan has amazing night sky viewing. But also we're trying to kind of like change the tone of Lahontan and change it from this party destination to a night skies. Come check it out. They also have like amazing beach access out there, amazing boating, and so more of like promoting the outdoor recreation that Lahontan has to offer. And so we are putting it in the books again for August of next year, and that will probably still be out at Lahontan, but the goal is to paste it somewhere down here in Southern Nevada, so probably Valley of Fire. After the visitor center is up and running, we'll kind of start thinking about hosting twice a year a Cosmos in the Desert festival in both Northern and Southern Nevada as well, which is very, very cool. And we hope those 300 numbers just keeps continuing to grow. We just saw like a lot of people sitting on the beach enjoying the Perseids meteor shower, which was happening at the time. So it was like just a really amazing time to see everyone out enjoying the night skies. Although it did rain on us at the beginning, and then it like cleared up a little bit. I've been working with other organizations and dark sky enthusiasts to begin what we call a Nevada Dark Skies chapter. So this is part of like the Dark Sky International. So each state can have a chapter that then gathers advocates and started working on education outreach, finding ways to continue to preserve our night skies in the state of Nevada. So we've been meeting for a couple months now. We still haven't formally formed the chapter because we haven't done everything that Dark Sky International has asked of us yet, but we're very close to getting that up and running. And then we had a Girl Scout reach out to us. So I've been mentoring a Girl Scout on her Gold Award, and she's been doing outreach on the impact of light pollution within Carson City. So lots of stuff happening with the Dark Skies program. And I also oversee the Nevada Outdoor Recreation and Infrastructure, or the NORI grant. And that is actually like finally wrapping up. I have 3 grantees that are still open right now, but we are hoping to have that all wrapped up and closed out by the end of this year. That was a one-time funding. It was reapproved through legislation, but no funding is signed. So we are hopeful that that funding source comes back, because we attended the grand opening out at Carver's, Nevada, which is a very small town in Nye County, but beautiful, right up against the Humboldt-Tyobes, for the Carver's Arena shooting area. And they have done a lot with the funding that we provided them. It's trap shooting, which I'd never seen. So they did a demonstration with all their clay pigeons. It was very cool. And so they felt very seen and heard with the funding that we provided to them. So again, that funding source was very important. And again, we're kind of looking for ways to acquire that funding again, or resupplement that funding. Something we did earlier this year. So if you guys haven't heard, there was a law passed back in January called Biking on Long Distance. And this is a coalition founded pretty much by IMBA, but also bikepacking routes and several other national nonprofits. And it's meant to identify 10 long distance proposed biking routes in the United States, and then 10 routes that have yet to be developed. So 20 total. And in Nevada, we got together with some key partners and we submitted a route. It's 360 miles long. It takes you from Ely, Nevada down to Caliente. And it's a series of 2 loops. So it's actually quite accessible. It takes you through 4 state parks, a wildlife management area, in addition to BLM and US Forest Service land as well. So if you guys are not familiar with bikepackers, they're dirt baggers. They are happy to go 100 miles in any direction. You know. We were particularly excited about this route because it does allow you to go from eastern Nevada, from the Great Basin down to the Mojave Desert, which we thought was very exciting. So they're still deciding. Ultimately, it is the interior that will make that decision. But you know, for now, it's in. We're hopeful that we receive. It's not a formal designation. It's a recognition. Okay, so I think that's key to kind of keep that in mind. But bikepacking is something that's growing in popularity, and it is something that is a tourism generator here in the state of Nevada, and it also like elsewhere in all the other Western states who have just long distance miles of gravel to be explored as well. Elizabeth mentioned the Truckee Meadows Community College, so they have selected an education coordinator. So they are currently compiling the curriculum that they're going to use starting next year. And then we are working with them as well on the Mountain West Conference. And we will kind of see where that program goes. We're very excited. And UNLV has also expressed interest in expanding that type of programming down here in Southern Nevada as well. Oh yeah. I am also working on a recreational trails program grant that is due Monday, and that is to bring a series of trails trainings for nonprofit trail agencies and land managers to Northern Nevada, focusing on critical skills that are needed by those organizations. And the idea there is also to start it off in Northern Nevada and then kind of see if we can rotate it around the state to address other like skill gaps that trail organizations need. That is my update.
Thank you, Chelsea. Denise Bronia for the record. Just a quick correction on the Nori grant. So when we created the bill draft request for SB 21, which passed in the last legislative session, the intent was to create a second bucket for the newer grant that included infrastructure and it was for the public. So really that's where that thought process came from, to take the Nori grant, which was EDA funds originally to travel that. Thank you, Raphael, to your department for those funds for the Nori grant. But to take that idea and create an infrastructure component to the NOAA grant, which did not exist. So just that quick information. So, okay. And then also real quick, want to thank Bob Vergel from the Division of State Parks for tomorrow's field trip. Whoever's going, I forgot to mention Valley of Fire at 10 a.m. tomorrow. If you need any other directions, let me know. But Bob was very generous in tracking down all of the hard hats, over 17 hard hats that'll be needed for tomorrow for the construction site. So we're super excited to be kind of the first group to see the Valley of Fire. So thank you, Bob, for doing that.
Do you want to give an update on the center?
We'll wait until Yasmin and Kate are done and Kate wants to do it. Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Just finish. Yes, okay, that's all I have. So Yasmin and Kate.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nancy Pomerovich, Jay, and Elizabeth, position about the recreation. As most of you know, I work on the Nevada Trail Finder website, and I manage the data set of all of our trails and recreation assets in the state. And we've been seriously working with state parks to get all of our data and people recreation assets down to the community level. We're done. So we go with the idea. Yes, for the statewide comprehensive outdoor recreation plan, which state parks is now mandated to do every 10 years. or it was like 5 years or 7 years, to apply for land and water conservation fund provided by the federal government. So there is a dashboard available for the sport. If you're interested in looking at maybe the pathway like your county or area to make that our information is correct, just let me know and I will send that to you as soon as it is back online. And other fun things, we have a new venture with Pahrump. So over the last couple months, we've been working really closely with Jamie over at Visit Pahrump to highlight the different recreation opportunities that are around the lake and really most of like the women's rights opportunities. So yeah, Deborah and Bob will have some little so we decided with an idea, a kind of trail idea. So people can stop at a tourism office, pick up one of these brochures, and it has your emergency contact, a little bit about run, where the suggested routes that you could go to, and then a little map on the inside. And we did decide to do an 11 by 17, so you can print it and label it. So, you know, take a look at it. Let me know if you have any thoughts, if you've seen any other really cool maps from different cities that you think maybe we should incorporate. This is really just a mock-up. The picture's not in the front. Follow up on that. Tuesday, we got it here a little bit earlier today, riding around the spring mountains and stuff. I think to do a lot of field verification for these trails. And, you know, to really get into play to be able to talk about it more. I really suggest if you want to go. Yeah, because there is a big screen, at least the map portion. So we are going to be working really closely with the OHB locals and groups to make sure that, you know, so this is the map of the community. So the trails are there where they need people to go as well.
As me, I demonstrated, yes, it was well, we showed up and did that. Went out with our people and enforcement, we had a committee that day. But this is exciting for us. We don't available handouts, let alone a QR code. I know they're available, but not everybody knows that, and some people just like me. So I appreciate the work you're doing, and we thank you.
Of course. We hope to replicate this map to go on any kiosks for any of the trailheads. Main staging area, or their main tourism center after Janie's beautiful mural idea comes.
Now, never forget, those kiosks standing blank along the Boulder tree for 2 years. So we're very excited this fall. Yeah, once again.
And trail finder news. We have been working hard for the trail side services, which I've been talking about for a year now. Hopefully, the development on the back end of that website will be done by the end of October. So once again, this is sort of where you go to Nevada Trail, also going to populate different businesses within X amount of this trail location. So, you know, say you are around and you get them so you have to you know, local tire shop here to show you where the is. We will also, so right now it's populated with different OHB businesses. We have business services, and we are working on putting in guides and services and outfitters. So we're kind of focusing on maybe some fishing guides, hunting guides, European Jeep tours, different things like that, just to kind of get people to experience a little bit period and have that unique Nevada adventure. For the month of October, we partnered with Nevada Horse Trail. So they're just like a small group that she's one person pretty much riding every single trail in Nevada and has been for years. And she made a website called Nevada Horse Trails where she now posts it's like the equestrian version of Nevada Trail Finder. So we work with them for a lot to populate our website, do some field verification, and so then we want to be partners to promote the ABOR, which is our equestrian badge. So We're highlighting 5 of the best places throughout the state to ride in fall. So we've got a couple on the east side, north, south, middle, a little bit of everywhere. And, you know, because you get all 5 of your horseback riding, you know, trail block, you get the badge, you send it in, she'll send you a gift. So. It's been a really fun promotion. We've been really trying to partner with our local groups to do these more unique badges, help them, help us, kind of a win-win for everyone. Lastly, we have a very exciting partnership on horizon with Comment. Raise your hand if you're familiar with Comment. Okay, everyone. So, those who are familiar, it is a road, backcountry hunting, fishing, trail navigation app. And they found Trailfinder by chance, and they reached out and said, "You have the most data we've ever seen. How can we partner together and verify our trail data together?" So they want to go ahead and kind of take our base data, overlay it with theirs, any discrepancies, and we're kind of going to work through those issues to see what are the right trail names, what's the landing throughout this trail, or anything that we need to be, you know, updated on. And then also they have a grant program. So they have a couple projects out in Nevada, and once those grant projects go through, they're going to send us the trail data off of that. So we are getting kind of some field verifications, and that is really the main thing we're allowing with motorist recreation here. So with that, I will segue over to our, yeah.
Elizabeth Johnson for the record. So just to remind everybody up to this point, yeah, the position has been grant funded. Yeah. So it's through RTP, next was through state parks. It's also been from the OHB commission that granted it 1 year, and also through the EDA tourism block grant, through traveling that has helped not only pay for her time, but also just the work that she's done on the Trailfinder website and her ability to make snaps for communities and stuff. I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the most important part of my job is that it's a community job. So I can't map the trails without getting community input, and you don't want to map it. So community input. So thank you guys. Any other questions or comments? Okay. I'll go over to our OHB guy.
Katie Mark, the OHB program manager. A lot of time in the last month. We've been very, very busy, and I feel like a lot of time kind of getting the program up and running again. I feel like we're now finally sprinting, which has been awesome. So the first big thing was that we were fully staffed again. We did hire our committee position. He's actually the only one in Carson City. But he was taking all of the work with the DAB OHB unit. So that has been a really effective kind of some inside knowledge. He's been awesome. And with that, we've been really kind of just been able to focus on getting things again, kind of administratively cleaned up. We closed out our 2 oldest grants from 2020, which is great. And in December, we're going to be closing out 7 more. So then after that, we will be 100% like current with no extensions. Great. So that's great news. And with all of this, and with all kind of the cleanup coming to an end, we've now been able to kind of focus on our next steps and what we need to happen to start moving forward. With that, it's been a big marketing push. Marketing is the name of the game right now. So we have been much more active on social media. We're getting very poor engagement, but because we've been dead for a while, we are slowly starting to work on that. But one issue that we are running into is that our backlog of photos is extremely outdated. So if you guys have OHB photos or you have posts or things you'd like us to share, please let me know. Please send me anything, because we have hundreds of photos, but no photos of anybody had. If you have anything you'd love to see in photos, let me. With that, we've also been redesigning all of our literature handout. DMV has provided us with a great registration handout that is just DMV focused and is part of this ongoing project to educate the public that DMV does registration, we do the grant forward. So we have this new handout, which has been really great. It's got QR code to take you straight to the DMV's website, to the renewal site. And I'm currently working on a rack card about the program, and then also a Bible that has program information, but also just general like safety, best practices, and like regulation information as well. With all of this, we also are going to be reaching out to like clubs, grantees, organizations, and if they have resources that they'd like us to be handing out as well, we're looking for anything. For example, like Development for Schools coupons for their like free online OHV safety course, and we would love to hand those out as well. So we're trying to really build up our team presence. The website backend redesign is finally done, and we have been very slowly updating and streamlining our website. For a little bit of context, we weren't able to actually update the content on our website until very recently. So since then, we have been going through updating pages, changing pages. We have completely removed pages, which was our mapping pages, and switched entirely to Trail Finder because it's updated and approved and legal. And there's been kind of some issues with that we're still working out, but we have fully made the change to Trail Finder, which is cool. And we're now looking for like educational materials to add to the website. So some things that we have in mind is like railroad safety, tread lightly, the SOP process. But if you guys have other things you think that would be a valuable resource to have on the OHB website, as well. And then finally, the last thing, the marketing. We are building our schedule for outreach next year. We're looking at races, fairs, shows, hunting shows, like anything that is OHB related that would be beneficial to have a booth at, where we can talk about registration, we can talk about the grant program. Where we're looking for anything. So again, if anything comes up, we'd love to know. With that said, I'm talking about the cool thing was to Colorado, to Western OHB Law Enforcement Tactics Coalition. It's a very small coalition of Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico. And this was the first time that has been represented. And it is their OHB programs getting together and talking about what they're seeing in the field, what works, what doesn't work. And it was very beneficial to go to see what other states are doing. We are the smallest OHB program by far. We are 2 people. I believe Utah has like 200 people. So it's a great starting out point, but they provided a lot of context and a lot of like, hey, we did this forever and it didn't work, so don't do that, just go straight to it. So that's been really cool to kind of work with these other states. And we're going to be leaning on that more. I've also been at the Off-Road Summit last week up in Elko, the California OHB Safety Summit as well. One nice thing with the mission is that we have re-engaged our ex officio seats. So we now have representatives from Forest Service, BLM, and DMV actually sitting on the commission to provide that expert opinion, which is awesome. And then my last couple of things are some things coming up in the future is we're going to be doing a big grant solicitation push to all counties, all sheriff's office, municipalities, just saying like, hey, this funding sort of this. And if you need anything OHB, let's start that conversation. Next week, we're going to start looking into switching our grant process over into digital with an in-house grant management software system. And then so at some point, we're going to start looking on a strategic plan as well as the communication plan for the program. And then my last big update is the grant run is currently open. We have $750,000 available. The next mandatory training is on October 16th, things are due. October 26th. And for the first time, because I have been in this position, I can actually say all three of our vehicles turn.
Denise Bronio for the record. I just want to publicly say how proud I am of my team and how hard everybody works. Everyone at the Division of Outdoor Recreation has their own little niche. Everyone has their own little project. They are super good worker bees, and I'm really proud of all the work that we've done for such a small division compared to somebody like Utah, like you were saying, who have hundreds of people working for their state. So everyone's done great work, and thank you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, did you want to talk about the center?
Sure.
What's going on tomorrow?
Bob Miguel, Administrator for Division of State Office. So as was mentioned, tomorrow we'll go take a tour of the new visitor center down on the fire. Still under construction, so it's all of the overhead for that. So if we have too many people showing up, we might break up into two groups, but I think we should be able to get everybody through in one group. It is an active construction site. But it sounds like it's largely done. I'm super excited to see it. Last time I saw it, it was just about 3 walls and a bunch of concrete. But pictures I've seen look pretty amazing. So the grand opening for that is going to be November 22nd. So everybody here is cordially invited to show up to the ribbon cutting ceremony. It's a Saturday before Thanksgiving. So as of last week, we're still on track to actually meet that date. So we're super excited to get that thing open up.
So what happens to the old visitor center?
We are looking at hiring a company to kind of look at it and give us some ideas, look into what might be the best use for it. I'm not sure that we're gonna pay to have that plan done or not, because I think really probably the best use for it is to convert it into a restaurant. So that's kind of the direction we're taking, but we're gonna look into that a little bit deeper. The only thing that is water consumption might be required, or we're already pushing up against the water that we have available to us up there. So that would be the one limiting factor, is whether we have enough water to turn that into a restaurant.
Good. So any questions or comments for Denise or her team? Anything? Okay, we will go to, thank you very much. That was great information. Item number 8, presentation from a good friend of mine, Seth Floyd, the city of Las Vegas, who I have to work with for many years, Las Vegas City Council. He is
I did.
Good eye.
She's on it.
Eagle Eye Johnson.
What's our time? I don't want you telling me we've only got 2 minutes.
I think that one, no, it doesn't have the red button. It's okay.
Currently online is showing the.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get back to. I was trying to get to this. All right. So when we go to the PowerPoint, we'll have to stop sharing this.
Got it. Okay, I will let you know that. I'm not gonna touch it. That's why I'm not doing the PowerPoint. Well, thanks, Denise. I'm Seth Floyd. I am the Executive Director of Community Development for the City of Las Vegas. As the Lieutenant Governor mentioned, we used to work together if any of you didn't know, he was a councilman on our city council for a while, representing one of the wards where we're going to spend a lot of time talking about all the opportunities for outdoor recreation. So Lieutenant Governor, if I say anything wrong about your old board, jump in and feel free to correct me. But first, show of hands, anybody, how many of you in here are from Southern Nevada? Well, or lived in? It's not many. Well, then I got to do my first slide. So you guys know the Strip is not in the city of Las Vegas. I didn't know how much of this map I was going to have to go through. At least know that. But I did want to get us oriented. So, we're down here at the dam. The city of Las Vegas is this area outlined in red here. And I know this is probably kind of small for those of you sitting in the back, but I think just looking at a map without knowing anything else, you can see all the opportunities we have here for outdoor recreation. We are adjacent to the Red Rock National Conservation Area. What's not on the map, but Mount Charleston is right up here in the top left corner. Tule Springs National Monument is here. Obviously, Lake Mead is not that far away. So you might be thinking, well, surely the city of Las Vegas then has been doing outdoor recreation for decades. Well, no, unfortunately, we've only been doing it, at least doing it well, I think, for a few years. And there's a few reasons for that. And I'm going to take you through a little bit of that history of kind of how we got where we are today. Marco Vallada on my team is then and Ian Reinex are going to take it from there and tell you all the things we have going on right now. So I moved to Vegas in 2005. I'm originally from North Carolina. Back then, Vegas had about 500, the city had about 576,000 people. We are today at almost 680,000. So we've grown quite a bit in the last 20 years. And when I first moved here, I was training for a triathlon, and I had a road bike, and I would go out to the loop that goes from the end of Charleston all the way out to the scenic loop at Red Rock and over to Blue Diamond. And this was before we even had a shoulder on the side of the road to ride on. So I did 2 of those rides. I think the Lieutenant Governor probably passed me in his Corvette doing a high rate of speed. I'm just kidding. He always rode the speed limit. He always rode the speed. And I turned in that bike and got a mountain bike because I was like, this is dangerous. I'm going to start mountain biking instead. And what I found out was, while there were some really amazing trails to ride in a lot of different places, you kind of had to know someone to know where they were. Vegas was not advertising that. We weren't recruiting people. I mean, we weren't advertising for new residents. Oh, go to these trailheads. BLM at the time, their management strategy was no access except for in the conservation area. They were not authorizing trails at the time. So most of the trails I was riding on were probably illegal back then. So fast forward a little bit. So I worked for the city from 2005 to 2007, took a little detour during the recession, came back in 2017. And at that time, what was starting to happen is the ward that the Lieutenant Governor represented and all up here in our northwestern boundary were starting to, Summerlin, if you're familiar with Summerlin, they were starting to push up against our boundary, against Red Rock Conservation Area. So we were seeing a lot of unauthorized recreational use start to crop up in the conservation area and adjacent to our boundaries, because folks were just going out there, even when there were no trails, they were riding OHVs, they were driving, mountain biking, trail running, that sort of thing. But the BLM still, their management plan was no access. We approached them a couple of times and said, hey, we got residents who are going to be living there. You want to work with us? And they were like, no, but we are working on our resource area management plan update. Sure. Yeah. Well, they did this one. They did one. It was paid for privately. That's all. Side note, Friends of Red Rock paid for that. So I got done faster. The other thing that was happening was Summerlin, which was starting to hit their boundary here. You can see Summerlin West. The first time we approached them and said, hey, there's trails that are kind of working their way up from Calico Basin. People are already riding behind your community. I guarantee some of your residents are doing it. Are you interested in working with us on a trailhead? And they said, well, only if it can be private for Summerlin residents. But that doesn't work for BLM. And so they kind of shut the door on that. Well, fast forward to about just before COVID, and Summerlin changed their tune. They realized that, one, they were selling houses for a lot more when they were close to the boundary. they also realized that their residents were essentially demanding that they provide access to these trails because as Summerlin grew, they were eradicating some of the illegal trailheads. And so these mountain bikers and trail runners and other users were having to get there. So they also changed their tune. So all of those things came together for us in 2022 when the BLM issued their blueprint for outdoor recreation, where they essentially said, yeah, we realize this no access thing isn't working. Now we're going to welcome it. It just needs to be managed properly. And that's when the resource area management process started in earnest. They authorized a bunch of trails that we have along our western boundary, including if you're a mountain biker, you've been down here, the Burbs is a trailhead. I love mountain bike trail names. We could have a good deal with those. But they authorized that area, another area. And so that opened the door for us to then start planning for some trailheads. And I won't go any further on that because I don't want to steal all of Ian's presentation by talking about that. But we are really excited by this opportunity that we have to connect to trailheads. And for us, I know that for this board, some of the focus is on the tourism aspect of it. For us, it's our residents. We have couple, almost 100, and within about a mile of our western boundary, we're going to have it's either 100 or 150,000 residents by the time it's fully built out. And that creates a huge demand on our recreational resources. And some of the safety valve or the relief valve for that is going to be all of these trailheads and these trails that are adjacent to it. So we're excited by that. But like I said before, I get really passionate about this. When I started this job, we didn't do anything with outdoor recreation. There was no team for outdoor recreation. It didn't have a department home that it lived in. So I went to my boss at the time and I said, hey, am I allowed to do some outdoor rec stuff? He's like, oh, you're a director, you can kind of do whatever you want. He later told me I need to stop asking for money for it though, just yet. But we now have a team of folks who are working on outdoor recreation in the city. And so let me turn it over to Marco Bellata. And by the way, ask questions throughout. We want this to be interactive because there are so many tangents we could go on. In fact, our first presentation probably would have gone on about 4 hours, but we realized you guys don't have time for that. So we narrowed it down, but we are happy to go off on whatever tangents you want us to talk about. So with that, yeah.
You made a comment when, thank you. When the city is built out, when do you project that?
Well, with the economy slowing down, maybe a little bit beyond, but we are 3 to 5 years from having development entitlements on all of the land we have left. Now, how things have kind of slowed down almost to a halt at the moment, so I don't know how long that's going to last. So I don't know that I can give you a good estimate, but we're probably 3 to 5 years from at least having land entitled all the way to our boundaries, with the exception of the road that goes to Mount Charleston, because there isn't enough water yet. We haven't built out all the facilities to get all the way to our northwestern boundary. But everything else is probably in the 3 to 5 year range, which means that all of those residents will be living the next 10 years right up against that boundary. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Marco?
Short pause. Short pause. We can either just leave it on this or.
Yeah, do you have notes? That's usually why I don't.
Anyone else have any questions while we're waiting for the PowerPoint?
Yes, you're gonna get right up against that western edge and we have that shooting facility that's there.
The shooting facility, Mark, was that?
That's probably.
It's in the county. So what's going on when we get the legacy trail building right now?
Yes.
Is just
Yeah.
test of that facility, and they are working on putting those light section, this is the trail.
Just don't drop this.
And phase one of the legacy trail actually has already started.
Stop sharing.
So while this is getting set up, for the record, Marco Bellata, City of Las Vegas, Department of Community Development. I also recreate across the state of Nevada. I've been all the way down to Laughlin, all the way up to the north. I think some of my favorite spots, you can't pass up Lake Tahoe. I heard Schooner, but on the way to Schooner, you'd also go to Marlette Lake. That's one of my favorite trails. And as Mark Twain said, 150 some years ago, you know, it is the air that the angels breathe. So of course, Tahoe is very near and dear to me and my family. But there's also, the Great Basin National Park, the Teresa Lakes, Stella Lake, the Big Creek Trail. I do a lot of hiking and a lot of recreating in that sense of it. Southern Nevada has quite a bit to offer, and I think our closing slide, you'll see how much is within a short distance of the city of Las Vegas. And this is an excellent opportunity for people that come here to visit and to recreate, to also drop some money here as well. I mean, this is a base camp, if you will, for other national parks, other state parks, short drive to the Grand Canyon, short drive to southern Utah. And if you want to go up to some of the areas off-road, Great Basin and Range National Monument, Gold Butte National Monument, the 6 great state parks in Lincoln County that I love to go to and used to do park-to-park pedal on until they stopped it this last year. Those are all great. And this one, the Fire Wave, I mean, I think it's very comparable to the wave in Utah, outside of Kanab. Hopefully, if you have a chance to go, definitely check it out when you're out at Valley of the Fire. And also, we're not far from one of my favorites. If I just need to get away from work, sorry, Seth. But the Railroad Tunnel Trail is, the ending of that trail is actually the top of the Hoover Dam Garage. And if you were to continue walking up the grade, you'll get to the railroad bed that goes along the mountain where they transported materials in from Henderson and Las Vegas to build this the dam that we're at here. So that is an awesome trail facility, and I think we have a lot of stakeholders around here to thank. We want to talk a little bit today about our policy background and some of the things that we do. Obviously, we offer a Parks and Recreation Department with your traditional parks and sports amenities, but we also offer a lot of different things. And the guiding document for us is our 2050 master plan. I'll talk a little bit about the policy that is behind outdoor recreation and the resolution that we use to implement the 2050 master plan and some of the goals that we have behind that. We'll talk about SNPLMA, the Southern Nevada Public Lands Management Act, which has helped fund a lot of the trails and some of the resources immediately around the city itself, and the city makes use of through that process to get future facilities into place. One of those being the Vegas Valley Rim Trail and some of the components. Ultimately, if you were to connect to the from the historic Railroad Tunnel Trail, you get to the River Mountain Loop Trail, and then that would take you to a trail that has slowly started to be built around the periphery of the Las Vegas Valley in bits and pieces. You can kind of see it right over by the hotel as you're going back towards Boulder City if you don't go on I-11. And then, how do we connect people from those neighborhoods, the 150,000 people that are within the city's boundary to the west or the northwest? Well, a lot of people tend to get out to Red Rock Canyon or up to the northwest on bike, especially if you're going to recreate. But we have some gaps in between, and one of the things that Ian will talk about here is how we fill some of those gaps in, and then just an overall overview of what we're doing. So, as mentioned, our 2050 master plan is really kind of our guiding for all things from A, annexation to Z, zoning. It covers conservation and parks and recreation. Those are two of the key elements that we have that all cities and counties across the state of Nevada that of our size have to speak to in terms of how do we plan for the future for our residents. And City of Reno has one, Washoe County has one, Clark County has one. They all have their own little spin and flavor on what open space recreation and outdoor recreation are, and ours is very uniquely Vegas. A couple of years after the master plan was adopted, which was 2021, we had a desert edge and outdoor recreation resolution. Seth really kind of helped spearhead that and get us in the direction of, well, we don't really have any language defining what outdoor recreation is to the city. What is it? And so we went through and we started talking about what the master plan spoke of and how we're going to get things built and some projects done. And hopefully with this board's help, maybe future projects as well. Because we recognize the environmental and economic benefits behind it. You know, we do have a lot of areas that are protected, federal lands. We have protected species. Aside from the desert tortoise, we have a flycatcher, Mount Charleston butterfly. We've got a lot of native plants that are in reserved areas. And those are some of the same areas that we also traverse if we're doing outdoor recreation. So this is something important from our end as well. We want to make sure that we have the mechanisms in place to fund new parks and new trails through those areas, especially on our desert edge, which are those western and northwestern parts of the city around Lone Mountain and Kyle Canyon in the west and the northwest, and make sure that we have those amenities for hikers, bikers, mountain climbers, and people that are that ride horses. Some of the things that we do to enforce and protect outdoor recreation when you have this interplay of new development going on is making sure you have protections in place from a zoning standpoint. We do have protections for hillsides. You have some unique situations at the edge of the city. Where I live down in Henderson, there's a similar hillside protection ordinance, but some of the developers have gotten around that and they've been able to carve and terrace out Black Mountain. You might see that at the very edge of Henderson. That's not the type of environment that we want to create for ourselves. So if there is development that happens, we want to make sure we have protections for sensitive ridge lines and for arroyos that cross through those natural areas, while at the same time providing places for new homes to be developed. In the Northwest, you know, we have a trail that has been that was really kind of a legacy from our railroad days that connected Southern Nevada with Northern Nevada, the Las Vegas and Tonopah Railroad bed. And, you know, when we're out doing some scoping of how we can connect different parts of federal lands with the city, you know, we've looked at ways we could incorporate some of that existing, some of those existing amenities that are out there. But we also looked at, you know, what could we do to help facilitate SNPLMA in terms of funding those mechanisms. And as we were doing that, as mentioned, we noticed that we just didn't have that definition of outdoor recreation. So we came up with this that really, I think, helps complement some of the state level policy and some of the policy that we are trying to build on and help implement. And from this policy standpoint, we can use this to justify building projects and doing grants. Things like making our entire environment mesh together and making sure that we have access to resources. And with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Ian Reinex for the record. I'm just going to share a little bit about myself since my colleagues did. I'm also an outdoor recreation enthusiast. I'm a mountain biker, road biker, runner. I did rock climbing a long time ago in Minnesota over at Lake Superior, which is an amazing thing. I haven't done it in a long time, but I love mountain biking out here. It's amazing. It took me a couple years to get used to it because I did most of my mountain biking in New Jersey and Florida, which is way different. I mean, for the first few times I came out here, I thought like I would die. Bone and rocky, and there's ledges and all these rock gardens, and I got used to it. It took a couple years, but I'm really enjoying it. So it's great. So to go along with where Marco kind of left me off, we're going to talk about SNPLMA projects here. And I have just a little background on SNPLMA in case you're not too familiar with it. SNPLMA, as of now, has sold 44,000 acres within what's called the disposal boundary around Southern Nevada, with 27,000 available for disposal still. Revenue from auction sales total approximately 3.5 billion as of 2024. 15% of that goes to the State Education Fund and Southern Nevada Water Authority, and the rest goes to fund parks, trails, and conservation initiatives. Unfortunately, as sort of Seth has alluded to, and we're rapidly approaching our city boundary, and the way that SNPLMA works, we may not be able to receive very much more funding from it in the future as the rest of those BLM lands get auctioned off. But it has been a great resource. And so for outdoor recreation in the city, and I wanted to highlight some of our projects here. So up on the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you'll see a long list of projects. The ones that are highlighted are the ones with valuation, SNPLMA funding over $15 million. So I'm going to go through some of those projects here. And this is the Springs Preserve Trails. I don't know if many of you are familiar with Springs Preserve. It is a 100-acre cultural and historical nature preserve. So for over 15,000 years, artesian springs were pushed up from the Las Vegas aquifer to create an oasis. That's why Spanish explorers called it Las Vegas, which means the meadows. So this project was to expand an existing trail system there. This next spot up in the northwest of the city is Centennial Hills Park, and this is a 120-acre regional park that was built around a historic inverted riverbed, thought to be the last remaining remnant of a large network of such channels that once covered the area. And that's to make a number of improvements there. This is Freedom Park, which represents much needed investment in older East Las Vegas, which funded a number of replica ball fields throughout the United States, as well as an indoor soccer field. This is Lorenzi Park, which included improvements to children's play areas, new picnic and shade structures, and expansions of sports facilities.
I'll also note that at Lorenzi Park, we do offer fishing. It's one of two spots in the city of Las Vegas where you can do fishing from natural springs, spring-fed ponds that are there.
I didn't know that. Very cool.
Top. It's not even. Don't worry.
We do have a Floyd lamp.
Yes.
All right. And so also we have this is a yet to be developed park, but it's coming online quite soon. The Northwest Regional Park up in the very tippy top of the Northwest there. And within this red box, the phase 1A will include all of the area except for those soccer fields there. So roughly this area here. And that represents an 18-acre park. And the project will provide interpretation and educational amenities, focusing on the history of Las Vegas and Tonopah Railroad and the history of Southern Pipe.
And what you see there, that unique shape and that's a Y. That's a railroad siding that they used to load logs that they would bring down from Mount Charleston. So that was there in the 1920s, about 100 years ago, and that was one of several sidings in the Northwest that they used to serve the people that are coming up and down from the north.
And if you're wondering why we're spending on some of them with parks, it's because for us, in the large city, outdoor recreation, it doesn't just mean out there. Recreation, we obviously have to service all of our citizens. And so our goal is to try and connect all of these resources together. So that's why I want to spend a minute just talking about our interior urban parks before we move on into some more out there.
Amy Berry, for the record question, just thinking about Kendall's program. How much programming are you able to do to get youth living in Las Vegas out to these outdoor areas? And you're talking about the city.
Yeah, so we don't have, my aspect on that is I'll have to ask parks if within their programming they offer anything, but I'm not aware of any specific programming tailored for the outdoors within our parks environment. Now, part of the reason is because I'm going to show you in its next few slides. We actually do not have any city parks that are adjacent to the outdoors. That's coming few years. And this would be one, the Northwest Regional that you just up there would be one of them. It is across the street from the Tule Springs National Monument. But this park is.
Marco Bellata for the record. Another point to, on that though, there was a bill this last session, transit to trails that would provide funding for that. That's something that we'll have to take a look at as how we can maybe work with see so that to make some of that happen.
Ian Reinex for the record. So the next park we have here is Betty Wilson, which is a soccer complex, which included lighting and soccer related upgrades. And then finally, our other Desert Edge Gateway Park, as Seth and Marco just alluded to, is the planned La Madre Foothills Park over there on the far western edge. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next slide. So this is a aerial rendering plan view of the proposed park. So our goal with this park was to really support as many different outdoor recreation activities as we could that complement the Desert Edge, which you see on the top of the screen here. So note the north arrow here, and ideally the north arrow would be pointing north, right up, but this time it's pointing this way. So just keep that in mind. So that's to the west, the conservation area. But as you can see, we're supporting rock climbing, we're supporting mountain biking, hiking, because we have these walking paths and trailheads, and we're also planning a multi-use trail what will be a remediated OHV trail, a closed OHV trail that was recently closed by
So one of the flag that didn't make the final cut is how we got here, but I'll spend a minute talking about that because I think it's really unique. It's an opportunity that we have that doesn't come up very often, and we just by virtue of timing, we're able to take advantage of it. So this is part of a larger, almost 500 acre development that was purchased by a single developer, Boulder boundary. As part of our negotiations for a development agreement, which is like a private development contract with private developers, we negotiated for them to help us design and build a park. And this is the end product of that negotiating process. This will be surrounded by a number of homes and townhomes. I think the community is going to have somewhere around 5,000 residents, am I in the ballpark on that? So this is going to be, my hometown has 12,000 people, so like community members. But anyway, so we were to get the developer to participate, design, and they're contributing $20 million toward constructing this park, which will actually be a trailhead with the related amenities. They're giving you a gateway into the Red Rock Conservation Area. Yeah.
Strickland for question, the BLM trailhead, it has been taken away. It's a trailhead for OHVs.
Yes, so what they're doing, they're moving the trailhead about, is it, I don't know, we're not going.
Yeah, so they're moving it farther west. They've closed a number of OHV trails that are closer to the city's edge, and they're keeping one open that's farther west.
That was
You'll see that in a subsequent.
That was part of the ramp process, because what they heard from residents is they want the OHV trails, but they don't want to ride.
Sure.
And so BLM, I think, came up with a pretty good plan for moving that parking area out into the conservation area.
Very nice. Thank you.
Right. Once again, Ian Reinex. So once again, just to show you the location there, and Seth mentioned the development that's coming online, which as he said, kind of alluded with the delays in development. We're not sure exactly when that'll come on, but hopefully it'll come on sooner rather than later. This is another view of the park, axonometric. You can kind of see the desert in the background there, and this view is facing roughly southwest. So your BLM land would be to the upper right-hand side of the park here. And finally, onto the Vegas Valley Rim Trail, which Marco alluded to quite a lot. So the Vegas Valley Rim Trail was conceived in 2007, and through a kind of circuitous path, it received funding for design and construction finally via Assembly Bill 84 in 2019. And as of today, there's hundreds of miles of trails that, as you can see, kind of go in and out through the city. This is the Vegas Wash here, and Marco mentioned the River Mountains Loop Trail here. A lot of the trail has kind of been shoehorned, I guess, into the 215 Beltway on the western edge. And we're looking at trying to propose realignments for that to put the trail where we think it was supposed to be intended at the desert edge or outside of the urban core. Part of this, the goal, I'm not familiar with all the history. I'm sure there's a lot that's not recorded. But as far as I can tell, the best use of this trail is to try to connect as best we can various trail systems and resources in the area, and that's kind of what we're trying to do.
Can you go back to the? I want to point one thing out on the map. Trying to walk over here. Go back to the map that had the location of the trail. It's a couple slides back. So what the other thing that came together for us as we were starting to get into the outdoor recreation space and all of these positive things were happening that might allow us to do it is the Vegas Valley Rim Trail already had a rough outline as Ian just showed. And our development was starting to get to where that outline was. And so we've been coordinating with Clark County. Clark County now actually has a trails planner. I don't know, she hasn't been there that long, and this is kind of new for Clark County as well. And so we've been coordinating how we might phase connecting all of these different trail systems that were unauthorized and now authorized. And so we actually have now 4 trailheads that are in various stages of planning, design, or construction that are along our boundary. The first one, we were talking with someone about this earlier, is where the Legacy Trail, if you all are familiar with the Legacy Trail, that will provide a separated.
So we'll actually have a slide. Yeah,
All right, go ahead. I was too excited. All right, never mind.
Start one again. Can we do an interconnection, please, with Brown? We've been trying to get that. Thank you.
Well, it's a long ways. We can try. Yeah,
Property rock canyon is probably the.
the most direct goes over the ridge a little bit. Yeah. All right. So Vegas Valley Rim Trail, we're currently working on the county on trying to, as I said, realign this kind of away from the Beltway, which is kind of most of the alignment through our and adjacent to our jurisdiction. And this is a slide to talk about the bike lane gap study, which we are just kicking off as we speak. We've just selected a consultant and very excited to get going on this. So this is a map from RTC, and so green on this map, yes, light green on this map represents shared use paths. So you see the Beltway there and the Vegas Wash Trail here, which were part of the Vegas Valley Rim Trail. Yellow are bike lanes. This is kind of orange on this screen. And then the teal are buffered bike lanes. So as you can see, you're going to see easily a number of gaps here. We want to try to fix those gaps. We want to try to, both within our jurisdiction and with other jurisdictions. So a key component of this is interjurisdictional coordination. We also want to find out the best place to put upgraded bike type facilities. So separated in some way. The more separated, the better, but we only have certain amount of right of way to work with much of the time.
So I want to point something out here too. We got a great tip from Ely. So about a year ago, we called Kyle Horvath over in Ely to talk about all the stuff they've got going on, Ward Mountain and some other mountain bike areas. And one thing Kyle said, and at the time I didn't really think a lot about it until we got back to the table and debriefed. He said you should really think about the way your out there trails connect to your existing city facilities. And that's what got us looking with Public Works at where our current bike lanes would eventually get folks to these trailheads that we're looking to build. I'm not sure that's something we would have really thought a whole lot about at Kyle mentioned. So Kyle, kudos to Kyle for turning us on to that, because I think that's a really important, because we have the urban areas and people are going to get to these trails in a lot of different ways. They may drive, they may ride a bike, they may walk. We needed to make sure that there were those connections, and also connecting to schools and other public facilities that are in and near the boundary. So.
All right, so this slide really aims to pull everything together for us. So this is, not the entire city of Las Vegas jurisdiction, but it's a good chunk of it, representing the desert edge boundary here. And so really quick, you have to look on the left-hand side. It's going to go away, could go back. And the reason for that is because there's much more information that's going to be there just in a minute. But this is a representation of the topography. You can see just how much topography we have there within that BLM conservation area. This is our bike lane network and shared use path network here. You can see the light blue is the 215 Beltway, which, by the way, if you don't know, it's a great trail. It's separated. It's totally separated from traffic. It features a number of underpasses, so you don't have to do an at-grade road crossing, which is what it's called. It is right next to the Beltway, so you're close to the freeway traffic, but you still do get some great views of the mountains. And I've read that myself. This is our parks. So as you can see, we've already made an effort to connect our parks via our bike network. And on the BLM line here, these lines, this layer represents trails that were OHV and trails, non-motorized trails. Some which were sanctioned and some which were closed. They're a little bit thin, but maybe you can make it out. The red lines represent closed trails. The green lines represent sanctioned mountain bike and hiking, running trails. And the purple trails represent sanctioned OHV trails. So you can see, I could use a pointer here. This is the La Madre Foothills Park that we showed the images of earlier. And so these are the kind of a bunch of the closed, unsanctioned OHV trails. And then this is the sanctioned OHV trail here that goes, and one that goes all the way through here. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the loop may actually go closer in. But we've got two alignments that we're looking at right now.
So yeah, it was great to get all that done by the BLM, by the ramp. And these are our trailheads. So
Sorry, this is the one I just jumped ahead.
Good stuff.
So you can jump in, Seth, if you want, but well, I'm really excited about this. I'll start off.
We'll just point them out.
Okay.
We're almost done. I think we have two slides.
So we have Tui Springs Trailhead that's existing, that features 8 miles of walking and biking trails up there. The Historic Railroad Trailhead, we're starting from the north, by the way. That's going to be part of the Northwest Regional Park that I showed you earlier. Iron Mountain Trailhead is under construction by Sky Canyon.
This is the road to Mount Charleston.
Going further south, we have the La Madre Foothills Trailhead, which goes along with the La Madre Foothills 20-acre park, which I showed you images of, renderings of earlier. And then we have the Lone Mountain Trailhead, which offers parking and access to a 10-foot graded trail that goes all the way around Lone Mountain. And a little bit further up is a single track trail, intermediate single track trail that goes around it as well. Cliff Shadows and Buckskin sort of both access different points into burbs there, which
this trail system here.
It's right near Trigona Hills Park, which Governor Anthony helped get built for us. Also a SNF funded project.
What you're doing on those stands?
Trying
And what?
to Greek.
Very good.
Very good.
See, this is why I brought Marco. And then, so then this one here, we were talking about Summerlin, the Reverence Trailhead. Summerlin, like I said, they originally said no. Now they're a great partner in this. They are working directly with BLM to site a trailhead along Lake Mead Boulevard that will access some pretty well-known trails, Cloud9 Trailhead, although they destroyed most of that trail, but there are some other great trails there. So this will ultimately be the northern part of Summerlin West Trailhead for those resident access. And then I mentioned the Legacy Trail here. That's our southern boundary. It's in there. So we will have trailheads with trail all the way up to our northern boundary. So eventually you could ride, at least in the city, you could ride all the way from Charleston Boulevard to Mount Charleston. So
If you had multiple days and
I would ride it the other way.
infinite energy.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to access all those trail systems off of that. So, and this is, you may wonder what all these colored lines are. These represent different segments of sort of conceptual Vegas Valley Rim Trail realignments, just to let you know what that is. So just real quick, we're going to touch on Las Vegas Corporate Challenge, which is a city-led initiative since 1986 that helped us, that helps sort of bring the Southern Nevada community together and highlights our outdoor recreation resources within the city. So we host them at city locations. And I'm just going to go through them real quick for you guys. So at the opening torch ceremony, we have a Fremont Street Experience. Dula Gym, we have indoor volleyball and dodgeball. Cimarron High School track and field. All-American Park, flag football. Levitt Family Park, bocce ball. Chuck Minker Sports Complex, racquetball. Kellogg Zahar, Darling Tennis Center, soccer, tennis, and the 5K bike and walk races. Centennial Hills Park, volleyball. Doolittle Community Center, basketball. And finally, Laurenti Park, softball. And to kind of wrap things up, we have our, we just wanted to highlight some regional resources here in and around Southern Nevada. So a little bit farther out, we have, and this is roughly within a 5-hour drive, we have beautiful alpine lakes, Inyo National Forest, if you access from the east, which you can. Sequoia National Park, magnificent, huge trees, which you can access from the east. A lot of people access from the west because California and LA. Beautiful Milky Way sky viewing at Joshua Tree National Park and Mojave National Preserve. Of course, we've got the what is it called? Mighty Five. Yeah, Mighty Five in Utah, which are within a 5-hour shot, most of them. Bryce Canyon, Grand Canyon, it's farther south. Everybody knows Grand Canyon. And then a little bit closer, we have, and I thought Zion was supposed to show up, but maybe it'll show up later. We have a little bit closer, we have Death Valley National Park. There's Zion, Lake Mead, millions of visitors every year. And right next to the valley, this is about 30 minutes from where I live in the Northwest, Lee Canyon and Mount Charleston. In the wintertime, great snow sports. In the summertime, camping, hiking, biking. And of course, Red Rock Canyon and Valley Fire State Park, which I hear you all are going to tomorrow. And 600 plus miles of trails right within the valley. And also year-round mountain climbing. And so that concludes my city.
Yeah, well, no, I know we're kind of running over on time. As you can tell, we're very passionate about our outdoor recreation opportunities we have here. So happy to stick around or answer questions later, but Denise, I know you guys need to keep to a schedule.
Very good. Thank you very much. Any from the commission? Anything?
Chad Taylor, for the record, just as a comment, I think the gateway and gateway marks, I think that was great.
That was great.
Yeah, it was different when I was growing up. We're gateway drugs. Now, I think that was actually very fitting and putting that around the entire city. continuously to lead out. Just as skates, probably should have some sort of travel Nevada finder inside of them so you can explore further.
Let's check. Anything else? Thank you. We'll close the agenda item 8. We'll move to agenda item 9, presentation by Jill Lagan, CEO of Boulder City Chamber.
Thank you. And so I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I'm going to talk fast. I speak slowly. So, but I want to make sure you get lots of great information. I would love to share stuff. Make sure you think about Obispo Day as well, the national monument. That's so key to our surrounding area, as well as maybe the Boot Lake County or mountain bike trail. Such a great time. And they are together with the River Mountain Loop Trail as well. Which all happen to lead to the Boulder City Adventure Center. So my lovely Vanna, I don't have beautiful PowerPoint, I just use a Vanna. And so she can show you a few of these individual pictures. I also have with me, I have the wonderful Travel Nevada magazine that is created specifically for outdoor recreation. This is a phenomenal publication. If you haven't seen it, you don't have some, please let me know. We will get you some. The first couple stories are about the brand new adventure centers. Travel Nevada, this is a partnership with Travel Nevada. The funding came from an EDA grant. We're so excited about that. And it was matched with Travel Nevada funds from Heads and Beds taxes. So we're so grateful for tourists in Nevada, and it has led to some wonderful adventure center projects. So if you aren't fully aware, this is a sister project to the one in Carson City. Right, so we've got 2 amazing things happening, much like Lieutenant Governor announced that there will be the groundbreaking in Carson City next week. And our groundbreaking was 2 weeks ago. It was a phenomenal event. These 3 men that are here today, they have heard me pontificate about this way too long, so I will speak quickly, but I do have lots of information if you're interested. I brought Travel Nevada magazines. There's information here as well. This is a publication I firmly believe in. If you are not part of it, if you happen to have an entity or an attraction that can advertise in it, I highly recommend that too. I find it great ROI. I also brought with me today the Boulder City. This is a relocation and visitor guide. We have a lot of great information about Southern Nevada tourism and different operators, so I highly recommend that as well. And there's also images of the adventure centers. You know, guys, you're awesome. I don't think you want to stand there all day. Thank you very much. From the groundbreaking, we had the opportunity to pass out to anybody that participated these wonderful compasses that Travel Nevada made. On the back side of it is a QR code you can scan to get to the website that not only shows the potential tenants that will be at the Adventure Center, but also gives you the opportunity to go to the website that has all of the new information. It'll keep you updated. And so if you choose to, you're welcome to have one of those great compasses. We all need a little direction in our life. So I'm going to start though to talk a little bit about the Dark Skies, the program that we have in Boulder City. We received a $1.9 million grant. I was very grateful for the leadership from Colin Robertson, the first director of Indoor. I am so glad that he saw the value of what this could be in Southern Nevada and especially in Boulder City, so close to Las Vegas. It seems a little odd, right? But you would be so surprised at the ability for us to really lean into dark skies viewing and partnering with the National Park Service on this. So we've been talking a little bit more about what we plan to do, but I wanted to give you an update. In that 1.9 million, the city purchased a new Cobra head and other light fixtures that reduce the light pollution that was going out into the community. We really reduced them, and we're going to be doing some testing to tell us exactly what that looks like. But it also allows us to really go after that astrotourism concept. Not only do our residents really believe in wanting to make sure that they are good stewards, that they're reducing light pollution, being so close to Las Vegas, we have a strong belief in wildlife and wanting to make sure that we're leaning into that as well. And so this has been given us an opportunity to make sure that we talk more about and educate the youth on what that really means. We are looking at having a dark sky viewing platform at our Adventure Center. I probably should have started with Jill Lagan with the I also get to operate in the Nevada Welcome Center. I am so proud of being able to do that because it's such an important resource and a tool. I fear that we may not have enough welcome centers throughout the state. I am a big champion for it. I can see the value in it. We realize everything's online, and yes, they get a lot of great information online, but we still have a lot of people that want to come in and get paid for it, right? We are here just talking about that. There are still people that want that information. And so if you have any information you would like shared from all over the state, please send it to us because we do get a lot of questions about leaving this area. They come for the dam, for the bridge. They're now headed to someplace else in Southern Nevada or on up to Nevada. That's my job as the Commissioner of Nevada Commission on Tourism, is to make sure we're sending tourists to all the whole state. And so if you have something, please get it to me. We're more than happy to share. I wanted to also share a little bit more about the Reading Museum. A little bit of an update. Things are going great over at the museum. It is such a cool structure. It's been so fun to see the renderings that we initially were watching, and now we actually see it come to life. I don't know how many of you remember this, but many of you who fully state offices, I think it's been 12 legislative sessions that there has been work on that museum. And so Greg Corbett was the initial director that launched this concept and laid that framework in the footing for what now is going to be such a huge regional tourism opportunity right here in Southern Nevada. So yes, we are diversifying the economy. It's not all gaming. We love them. We love everything that they contribute, but there's so much more in getting out there in the great outdoors of the state of Nevada. And so this is just one of those really awesome resources. And October 20th will be the first time that the state of Nevada will be entering, and the State of Tourism Museum Department will be entering into a rail bike tourist program. And so this is actually one of those things that it was outsourced in the past. There were partners that had done it before, two, as a matter of fact. They were highly successful. In fact, the first one had over 55,000 ridership in the first year. That's huge. And it allowed our museum to be one of the top visited museums for the state. And so rail bikes, super excited to see that starting again October 20th. That's kind of a big deal for us in Boulder City. During COVID, when that was the only thing that was operational, it was very important to our families and to those that were just looking to get out and be able to do something. And so very glad that we have rail bikes coming back. I'm going to talk about the adventure centers for just a minute. I know many of you have heard about it. We've been talking about it for quite some time. I presented on it last year, so I don't want to bore you. I just want to tell you, it's the most stinking exciting thing that's happened in my life in the last 25 years. And so glad to be able to be a part of this and to make sure that we are championing this idea of bringing outdoor recreation into a single hub. For those that aren't super familiar with it, it is a one-stop shop for all the outdoor activities in around Boulder City. They will be able to utilize one of the suites, a location, a secondary location. So economic development opportunity. Many of these different businesses already have their main headquarters. This will be their second location, so they are jobs. Brenda wrote this graph. That is the number one after. We were able to get letters of support that represented about 20 million new jobs coming to Southern Nevada. I realize that's such a small thing in the big picture that we have for the state, but that is a big dang deal in a small community that brings families and allows families to then have a livelihood. So we are so proud of that. That particular opportunity, we are probably going to have to turn away a lot of people. I'm actually a little disappointed by that. I hate to say no to anybody, but we have so many people that are interested in being tenants at that location. We also already have a couple bus companies that are interested in being part of the transportation solution. So as we pitched this from go, we started on a little bit of, I have actually been trying to do this for 18 years. Much like Travis heard for a million years, when we first started this, I think he thought we were nuts. And so we're actually doing this. And so the idea, though, will allow for those operators to have all of their guests from the strip, 4 or 5 different properties, to this location 4 or 5 times a day, return those guests. So they are no longer having to bring in or take in their own shuttles, their own buses. All of that to reduce that carbon footprint, all of the congestion on the strip and all those pickup locations. Those bus companies will bring their guests to us at our location, drop them off. The operators will pick them up there and take them to whatever their activity is.
This allows those operators to add an additional 1 to 2 tours a day, pushing more guests and more tourists through the system, and allowing them also to save and reduce some of their expenses with the maintenance of their shuttles and their buses and the expense of the fuel. So we see this as such a huge win. We see this as a wonderful way for the state to be a great partner in diversifying tourism and allowing some of these business owners to see that there can be great partnerships with the state. They will be subleasing those individual locations. I hold the lease, it is done through the Department of Travel Nevada. Those leases are going to be so manageable because most of these spaces are between 83 and 172 square feet. They are not large areas. It's meant to be very doable, very scalable, and allows people to be able to bring in and make a nice revenue for some of the. So we're super excited about that. Sure, you might have questions for the city. I just wanted to leave you with this. Sorry, Lieutenant Governor. I wanted you to get on it. Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you. So, I just want to tell you one more thing because this is really important, relevant for all of us in the state. By the time, by the end of 2026, just here in Boulder City, we will be seeing upwards of $75 million being invested in our small little rural community here in Boulder City. That is a big deal. Those are federal, state, county, local, and private investment that by 2026, between some of the new buildings, between the federal funds for the Train Museum, this particular, the Venture Center project, the Dark Skies grant, some of the other grants that we're in the middle of trying to work on, the private dollars, the RTC funding, the road to the train, the some of the other different private things that the city is doing. $75 million in investment in a rural community, and I realize how close we are to Vegas. But that is significant. That speaks volumes, and it speaks volumes to investors that are looking to our area to become and to create that economic development. So I'm very, very proud of what I do. I'm passionate about it, as you can see. And I'm more than happy to help in any way I simply can for you guys because I believe in this particular commission. So thank you guys very much, and I can't wait for you to get on the raft because my dad is doing 20 years ago. You're taking
For the record, I'll tell you, we're awarded 3D travel Nevada, and you will be using that for a while. So I built a mobile podcast studio. Thank you. I should ask you that. But mobile podcast studio, and we use it also as an information center. We take it around to different events like the county fair. So it's wrapped. It's at bestdam411.com. So it has all information about the event center as well as Boulder. And I have the Best Dam podcast. Check it out. There's been a few of you on it, Best Dam podcast, and I'm very proud of that. And so, yes, we use $50,000 for the mobile studio, $50,000 to replace the LED board putting into our community. It was so necessary and has truly been a great opportunity for all of us to be able to showcase what's happening here in Boulder City. And then the rest of it was for capacity building. I've been able to hire 4 people. So it's been huge for the chamber, huge for Southern Nevada, and huge for all of the different tourism opportunities happening. And as much as I can be, I'll be a resource to you all as well. Thank you very much. Please come back if anybody wants to grab before we get.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Amy Berry, for the record, stepping in to close out the meeting, long-term chair. Okay, so item number 10, call for agenda items and date for next meeting. So looks like we're looking at the next meeting for the past, and then we are grant presentations on November 13th at the DCNR building in City. Yeah. Scheduled to go.
Denise Brody for the record. So we'd be looking for recommendations for our spring and summer meeting. It's gonna be really hard to talk with. Locations for the next meeting for the ABOR meeting. the spring. So we're looking for those. You don't have to come up with something right now, but if you want to email me with some recommendations, I'm happy to take them into consideration.
That's great. Any other comments? Agenda item number 11, public comment. Do we have anyone here? Anybody online? Oh, Stacey.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Stacy Montooth. I'm sitting in today for Commissioner Stacy M. from the Department of Native American Affairs. First, I'm incredibly jealous. Right? Greetings from the Capitol, but unfortunately, we don't have the view or the future plans that you all do. I just wanted to take this time to thank you all for your hard work. As a person who grew up just a few miles from Lake Lahontan in Nevada, I'm so excited to hear about your focus on that. I get to visit Las Vegas on a regular basis. I'm going to have to pack my hiking shoes. That presentation was fabulous. I did want to mention, I actually want to provide my thanks. Those of you that were involved with the Night Skies event that was held at Lahontan, I had the honor of connecting you with one of our most trusted voices in the Great Basin, Mr. Ben Rupert, who did provide, I believe, at least a 30-minute presentation about the connections with the stars, with the universe, and the first people of this land, the Paiute, the Shoshone, and the Washoe, and the Mojave people. And I look forward to helping in the future. One other public comment, here at the Stewart Indian School Cultural Center and Museum, we had the amazing opportunity of hosting a public screening of an award-winning documentary that has been out for about 6 months. I actually feel negligent that I haven't shared this information with you all. The documentary Remaining Native is winning awards left and right. It made its debut this early spring at the South by Southwest Film Festival. This is a documentary that focuses on a young athlete, outdoor. He's a runner from Yarrington, and his culture, his heritage, his connection to this amazing talent and work that he does that took him all the way to the University of Oregon track and field team. So I look forward to staying in touch with this group to see how that film that is completely there is a little segment in Eugene, Oregon, but it's all amazing cinematography of the Nevada desert, the area between Carson City and Yarrington, and your ideas about ensuring that all of our educators know about the opportunities for outdoor activities and funding is so inspirational. I think that there might be some room to work this film in. So again, thank you for the invite. Thank you for always including the Department of Native American Affairs in your work, and I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Wonderful, thank you. Thank you, amazing. Any other public comment?
Hey, very, James Lamar. Just curious for Director Monty, what day and time is that movie?
Director Settlemyer, we actually had the event out here on Friday. It was really spectacular. Our intent was to have an outdoor showing on the quad, and then Mother Nature didn't cooperate. But we had a great turnout, and we held it in the Stewart Gym. That's the new gym. This last weekend, it also was screened at the Fox Peak Theater in Churchill County in Fallon. I will get you a list of upcoming dates, but it screened at UNLV last week. It's already made 3 stops at the Nevada Museum of Art. It's been at the University of Nevada twice. It was the Audience Award winner, I believe, at the Cordillera Film Festival, which I know you all are very connected with Emily and all the work they do. But Director Settlemeyer, I'll get you the list of the upcoming showings.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to action item number 12, adjournment. Second, all in favor?